In 2013, an estimated 66,000 pedestrians were injured in traffic-related crashes across the country. 72% of those occurred after dark. Annapolis National Cemetery is only one of many veteran cemeteries that Wreaths Across America honors. The organization coordinates holiday ceremonies in all 50 states across the country. Behind me is where the new MGM Casino will open in 2016. It will be the only place in Prince George's County where a person is banned from smoking cigarettes, but is allowed to smoke e-cigarettes. Football practice at Bethesda Chevy Chase High School seems all too familiar, but something is noticeably unfamiliar. Meet Naomi Gross.
Football looked really fun. A lot of people kept telling me like, hey, you should play football.
Naomi's a senior at BCC. She's now the team's first female kickoff specialist. This fall, Sarah Thomas became the first full-schedule NFL female official. Jen Welter became the first female intern coach, and Kent State's April Goss became only the second female in NCAA history to score a point in a Division I college football game. Is it safe to call this a trend?
I think we're just going to see more and more.
You know, I definitely think with the growth of girls' sports, you're going to see that transfer to the girl who says, you know, I want to be that athlete, I want to go out, but I don't want to go out for just the girls' team.
Gross says her first play in a game was one she'll never forget.
Oh my God, I almost peed myself. My heart was just racing. I was so excited but so nervous.
Gross doesn't see her playing career extending past high school, but football has given her something much more lasting.
I'm probably going to be friends with these guys for like the rest of my life, honestly.
In Bethesda, Mike Tart, CNS TV. Over 800 million people are victims of identity theft over the past several years, and not even Maryland's Attorney General is safe.
Somebody filed a tax return in my name and my wife's name just this year, and let me tell you, if it can happen to the Attorney General, it can happen to anybody.
And the most vulnerable targets? Kids. 140,000 minors are victims of identity theft each year, roughly 2,800 of those living in Maryland. So lawmakers in Maryland hospitals decided to fight back.
Protecting vulnerable children in our community from financial predators. That's why we're here today.
The groups created what's called the Kids Safe campaign. It's designed to inform parents what they can do to protect their children from identity theft, starting from the moment they leave the delivery room.
Every single parent in the state of Maryland should do this.
Parents can visit the Kids Safe Maryland website, which provides details on how to place a security freeze on their child's credit. Once a child turns 18, the freeze can be easily removed.
You can protect your kid and you'll have peace of mind for at least 18 years or until the first high school dance, whichever comes first.
Frosch urged parents to take action starting today. In Baltimore, Mike Tart, CNS TV. Throughout the history of sports, there have been trailblazers who've paved the way for others to follow. Those who have opened doors, broken down barriers, and made the impossible possible.
Well, obviously, there were no female sports reporters really until just in the last, 35, 40 years.
In 2000, Pam Ward became the first woman to call play-by-play on a Division I college football game. But the road to that game wasn't free of obstacles.
I had news directors say to me when I was trying to get my first job that this community isn't ready for a woman to do sports.
And a familiar face was hard to find for inspiration as a young reporter.
I looked up to people like Pat Summerall was calling football in the National Football League. I loved him. But yeah, there were no women.
But in the late 1970s, things were beginning to change.
Robin Herman at the New York Times was one of the very first to get access to locker rooms, a pioneer in that sense.
Although the door was open, the attitude and mindset of many players, coaches, and team personnel would take much longer to change.
I was thrown out of a couple locker rooms back in the 80s, even when women were permitted in the locker rooms. People were like, oh, you shouldn't be in here. And I had to say, yes, I can be in here.
Today, a new generation of female sports reporters are filling jobs that were off limits no more than a half century ago, and they have those pioneers to thank.
Allie Jenkins, Christine Brennan, they sort of laid the foundation. Like they said, like when they started, they couldn't even go in the locker room, and I've been welcomed, and the players know what to expect.
It's always going to be easier for the next generation. They're going to have role models. They're going to have people they can look to and say, you know, why not me? And there have been great strides made, but there still needs to be a lot more done.
But above all, never give up on your dreams.
Don't take no for an answer. Grow a thick skin, and if you love it, just find somebody who will say yes, and then take off with it.
I'm Mike Tart, reporting from College Park.
One man's trash becomes another man's treasure whenever you're on an archaeological dig. It's why these archaeologists are sifting through the layers of an ancient oyster dump that is being washed away.
Well, the site's being destroyed by sea level rise and erosions.
Retired archaeologist Al Lukenbach is working with others under a federal grant to salvage 5 dig sites before they're lost to time and nature.
The work we're doing here with the Hurricane Sandy grant is an attempt to try to capture this information before it falls into the water.
Constant erosion has already washed untold generations of information into the Severn River, but climate change has increased that erosion even more.
We're losing a lot of the archaeological information that is housed in a site like this.
You walk down to the shoreline here, you know, how much have we lost already?
The oyster shells sticking out of this bank are part of an ancient garbage pile. Buried in its layers are the remains of Native American civilizations, and the layers are what tell the story.
Once it washes into the water, there's still artifacts, but the context is lost.
This dig is a form of salvage archaeology, an attempt to reclaim thousands of years' worth of human history before it's gone forever.
So we're losing, you know, inches a year, maybe a foot a year. Every little bit matters. It's, you know, piecing together, if you can imagine a book that's had 50 to 60% of it, of the pages ripped out. What we're trying to do is reconstruct history based on page 2, page 6, and page 20.
But they're taking on the constant race against the tide to ensure that the evidence of those who came before us can still be preserved, at least for a little while longer. On the Severn River, Catherine Klett, CNS TV.